Y'all have the amazing chance to sit down with Forrest Crawford. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about what brings you to the UFO convention today?
Well, when I was 10 years old, I saw a flying saucer land about 150 feet away from me. I knew even at 10 years old that they weren't from around here. And that got me started as a UFO researcher. By the time I was a teenager, I was already collecting books and gave my first speech at a meeting whenever I was 18.
Wow.
And I've been involved ever since in investigating UFOs.
So you're the Master of Ceremonies. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that is?
Well, basically, I have to show up on time, and I go to the microphone, I introduce all the speakers, I make the announcements. We'll have a panel discussion on Sunday, I moderate the panel. So it's the job that just sort of keeps everything running and is sort of the face of the thing, I guess, if you will.
How long have you been working for them?
I guess I've been doing the MC job for about 14 years, maybe.
Yeah.
The conference has been going on for 36 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've been at 33 of them.
Nice.
And I spoke at 19 of them, and then I kind of stopped lecturing in the early 2000s. And the guy who ran the conference was a guy named Lou Farish. Mm-hmm. And Lou was a dear friend, and he got sick, and he asked me to take over doing the MC role, and then he ultimately passed away. So we then, and when I say we, I mean the conference committee or whatever, turned the conference over to Dolores Cannon's family, to Ozark Mountain Publishing.
Nice.
They're very experienced conference people, and Dolores was always down here. It was a perfect transition. And then after we transitioned that over to them, they were kind enough to ask me to keep coming back and doing the MC role. And so I'm very honored to do it.
So for someone who's never been to a UFO convention, coming in, being new, what would you want them to take away?
Well, one thing that I would want them to take away, and they will, is that this is not a convention of a bunch of people wearing tinfoil on their head and dressing up like aliens and being weird, okay? And I've actually experienced this with a news reporter who came to this conference years ago for the first time, like, go cover the UFO conference. And so she came, and she was expecting UFO weirdos. And what she found was that the speakers were physicists and anthropologists and military experts, and like there's a very high level of expertise that you'll experience at this conference. So what I would want people to take away is that this is a serious subject, and it's being researched in a serious way by real scientists.
So can you tell us a little bit more about your experiences in the work you do?
Sure.
It's like
where do I start? Yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm the kind of researcher that you don't sit on the couch if you're a UFO researcher. Watching TV and reading is not enough. You get out there and you go out and look for the UFOs, and if you do, you're probably going to see things, which I have. I've seen many, many strange things. My research, I've never focused on one particular aspect, because some people they do physical trace, some people do conspiracy theory, or some people do, abductees, and I've kind of done some of all of that. And what I try and do with my research is piece this puzzle together. So you have to look at all of these different pieces of data and then see how they fit together. It's the best analogy is imagine a puzzle spilled on the table, and you don't have the picture off the box to know what it is. So you're looking for these little pieces, and you're trying to put them together so that we start to get a picture of what this thing is really all about. So that's kind of how I approach researching the subject. But you have to examine the evidence very carefully. You can't jump to conclusions. See a light in the sky, you don't know what it is, that doesn't mean it's chock full of aliens, right? So you really have to be a scientist in a way, and look at these things very pragmatically.
For the people who are kind of at home that are kind of closed-minded about this entire situation, what kind of advice do you have for them? Because I'm not closed-minded. I'm very open-minded, and I know that we're not the only ones. We've lived for for years and years and years, and we're just not the only beings
Right.
Just like, do you have any like advice for the closed-minded people at home?
Approach this situation with just pure logic.
Right.
And if you think about that, you think about how vast the universe is. You think about how much we've learned about it just in the last 20 years with like the James Webb Telescope and the Hubble Telescope, the things that we now know are out there. And what I mean by that is they've cataloged over 10,000 Earth-like planets. So why would life only exist here? Are we really that egotistical?
Exactly.
Okay. It's like even if it's squirmy little things in puddles on other planets, the universe, logically, the universe is probably teeming with life. And some of those star systems and planet systems are millions of years older than us. And just think of what we've learned in the last 150 years. Logically, you would expect to find advanced civilizations out there with technology that we can't even comprehend. The big argument is usually, okay, maybe there's life in the universe, but they would never come here. Well, I can assure you they're coming here because I've seen them.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you haven't, the way you have to think about that is, can they get here from there? That's the current big argument. And the answer is theoretically, yes. We're already thinking of all kinds of ways to get around out there. And somebody's probably figured it out.
Absolutely.
And then you start asking the questions of why would they visit us? So you start going down this rabbit hole of logic, and it just and more questions come out of it. But for a skeptic, just look at all the evidence, okay? Because if you go to court, one person can get up on the stand and say, I saw him do that, and they put you in jail. I can cite hundreds of thousands of people on this planet that have seen these strange things and experienced these strange things. How can we go, no, that's all just, all made up. They're all, having the same illusion. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Being skeptical is a very good thing, okay, but not to the point where you deny looking at the evidence.
Especially when it's right in front of your face.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate that. I gained so much knowledge just by sitting here talking. And I'm excited to go home and tell my mom about this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.